Right then, welcome back to the channel. Manchester United and Manchester City drew 0-0 yesterday at Old Trafford in what Gary Neville has called the most boring derby ever. I disagree. I don't think it was that boring. I think United actually had a go. And for that alone, I'm pretty happy. That being said, it wasn't perfect, but there were some things for us to talk about. So let's get into it. 5 things we learned. Manchester derby, 0-0 at Old Trafford yesterday afternoon. First one. Poor final action. Obviously starting to sound like a broken record now, but none of the forwards have got the killer instinct or quality in the final third, apart from Bruno. He created the only game big chance. He had 3 key passes, and unfortunately for him, there's nobody reliable enough to consistently threaten or even score. Højlund completely anonymous, just 15 touches, 0 shots, 0 key passes, and losing possession pretty frequently. Garnacho, despite energy and getting involved, did well on his duels, but again, just doesn't have the final third product. Both of the attempted shots that he had ended up being blocked. Only managed 1 successful cross from open play. Everything that we did around the City box was either erratic or it was laboured. United historically thrive and live and are known for attacking flair and creativity and fluid football, but currently we don't have the players that are equipped to do that. Number 2, preferred game state. We saw once again the best teams drag a performance out of United. That seems to be what we do. By the numbers today, United only had 39% possession and just 38% in the second half. But we looked by far the most dangerous. And that's not necessarily just playing on the counter, although that was relatively effective for us. There was times when we held possession and moved it around and probed. But we seem to be better against the teams that are willing to do that. We mentioned in the previews, both the previews for the last few games, everything that Nottingham Forest do, we're bad at. And I actually think that the derby goes better for us, and we were bang on. Because it's very, very clear that that was how it was going to go down. The defensive shape that we played today allowed us to make 32 clearances and 12 interceptions as a team. But you got to ask, is that style then conducive to winning major trophies in the long term? It can be, but ultimately you're going to have to evolve into a side that can then take the initiative against weaker opposition. Maybe you have a couple of different playmakers, couple of different midfield options, and those 2 wing backs, instead of being full backs and playing in a back 5 like they mostly did today, become part of your attack, and they are the widest players, and they almost live in the opposition half and help you break those teams down. We're probably too early in the cycle of Ruben Amorim to see that come to fruition just yet. But that's where United are going to have to pick up the points. And it's not a case of just that, oh, we're a counter-attacking team now, because I know some people are going to be sitting there thinking and looking at the numbers of how that game went off today. But we went and took the ball off Liverpool. We went to Arsenal and took the ball off Arsenal. Like, we did it the same at Spurs. Like, we went to all of those teams and we took the ball under Ruben Amorim. We've done that this season. We've not necessarily got the results out of that, but we've gone and took the ball and we've tried to play. So I think there's definitely good signs if it's not perfect, because it's not perfect. Obviously, we're fucking 13th. It's clearly not perfect. But yeah, when games are becoming a little bit transitional, or we're forced to break down teams that are sitting deep themselves, we do look a little bit unsure and we do struggle to control the game effectively. But that could be fixed with a couple of decent signings. And of course, someone who knows where the back of the net is would really help, wouldn't it? Number 3, Yoro. Yoro has started to find a groove. I thought he was very good today. 89% of his passes, 39 out of 44. 3 interceptions, 4 clearances. He stepped into midfield real nice. He went on a couple of dribbles. He's shown a good range of his passing, finding the fullbacks, moving the ball forward at the right time. Good composure, good confidence. Rapidly looking like the prospect that we hoped he would be. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. He didn't win any of his duels. And I think the physical side of the game is still a little bit wanting for him. But you can see the development in him. He's getting braver with the ball. And it looks like he's getting braver even with how he is without the ball, even if he's not quite dominant without the ball just yet. You know, a tactical yellow card late in the game maybe shows the confidence he's got in himself to do that. The key now, don't undercut his development, continue to trust him, continue to give him opportunities, and continue to, work with him on the elements of his game that need improving. But really solid performance from him. Well done. Number 4, midfield. Against Manchester City, you're not going to have a lot of the ball. Against Manchester City, when you have your double pivot, both completely shit the bed in terms of possession, you're not going to have the ball. And that's kind of what happened with Casemiro and Ugarte collectively today. Ugarte had United's best chance, and it was never on target from the moment it left his foot. Managed just 17 accurate passes from 22 attempted. He wasn't getting on the ball enough, and when he wasn't very good with it. Casemiro, while I thought defensively was sensational, and I thought he really brought this is a derby kind of mentality to us, 11 tackles, 14 defensive actions, had mixed kind of ability on the ball. Better as we move forward, better at helping us unlock, better when it went one touch, doesn't come and get on the ball and dictate play from deep. Like, United really struggled to play out. The reason we struggled to play out is because neither of our two number 6s were able to get on the ball on the half turn and drive it forward 15, 20 yard. We were relying on either hitting it over that entire back line and the two pivots and finding either Bruno or Dorgu or Delo in a little bit of space, or just fucking smashing it long and trying to win a second ball, which fucking bizarrely ended up probably being our most effective way of getting over the halfway line, which has to have Ruben Amorim fucking banging his head against the desk tomorrow at Carrington when he realises that. If you're going to be an in-possession team, and this is what this formation requires, you have to be dependable and progressive in the pivot area. I think Ugarte can do it. I think there's limitations to it. I don't think he's De Jong sort of levels, and he's certainly not Rodri, but I think that there's elements to his game that are really effective and would really suit what we're trying to do really well. But he's going to need somebody alongside him that can pick up the slack for where he doesn't quite have it 10 out of 10. At the very, very top level, Casemiro's done for, right, at the end of the season. I don't necessarily think that you've got the pace or even game experience yet in Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo might be able to play. I think he's better further up. He might be able to adapt his game to suit into that. Bruno Fernandes doesn't have the physicality to be able to do that and doesn't really drive the ball through the centre very well. Like, do you know what we need? We need, like, a 24-year-old Paul Pogba. That would be the ideal fucking player to come and play this role. You're not getting him. Anyway. And number 5, cameos. Mount and Xerxes both came on, and even Lindelof to a greater or lesser degree, came on and were positive when he came on. Xerxes provided more goal threat in 19 minutes than Højlund did for the entire game. Mount completed 100% of his passes, including one key pass, one successful cross, bringing a little bit of much-needed creativity and maybe taking a little bit of that pressure off Bruno. Could we have seen Chido Obi enter and maybe try and stretch City a little bit further, because there wasn't a lot of pace in United's back forward line, and whenever we displayed any level of pace, fucking Xerxes was sprinting through the centre of them. Christ on a bike. Imagine if we had had Ahmad, or, you know, like I mentioned in the preview, if you'd have had Rashford. I know these reasons what's going on with Rashford or whatever, but do you know what I mean? Massive opportunity missed, I thought, today. Massive opportunity missed. City was shit, but it's not my job for City to be good. We should have beat them, and we had the personnel to beat them. We just didn't have the finishing. One of them. Let me know your thoughts. Player ratings will be out later. I'll catch you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.